Hi, this is Sandra Cho with Pointwealth Capital Management, and today we're going to be going over 2022 in review. For the year, the S&P 500 was down almost 19.5%, the Dow was down almost 9%, the NASDAQ was down over 33%. Not all stocks were created equal. You saw growth and tech stocks go down much more than other stocks. The first quarter of 2022 was hairy. On February 24th, Russia invaded Ukraine, and that was basically the beginning of the end. Political tensions bubbled, supply chains came to a halt, commodities like grains, gas, and oil jumped. Inflation skyrocketed, and central banks around the world hiked interest rates. In March 2022, the Fed started to raise interest rates by 0.25% and never looked back. They have since raised interest rates at the fastest rate since the 1980s. The current Fed fund rate is at 4.25% to 4.5%. And in 2022, if you found a house and you locked in a long-term mortgage rate, you were one of the lucky few. The second quarter of 2022 saw the 2-year Treasury yield versus the 10-year Treasury yield invert. That is called an inverted yield curve. And that's an indicator that has predicted most recessions in the past. But what does an inverted yield curve mean? That means that interest rates on a 2-year Treasury bill is higher than the interest rate on a 10-year bill. And that's just weird and wrong. You are getting paid less to wait longer. When that happens, a black cat has crossed in front of us, interest rates have turned upside down, and all bets are off. The third quarter of 2022 saw 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, and we entered into what some economists deem a technical recession. Russia cut off gas supplies to Europe, and the euro fell to parity with the US dollar for the first time in 20 years. The US dollar continued its rise, causing havoc in emerging markets because commodities such as oil are usually purchased in US dollar and debt interest is usually paid in US dollar. In the fourth quarter of 2022, the US dollar started to go down compared to other global currencies. And we finally started seeing inflation come down. Make sure to check out next week's clip on what to expect in 2023.